Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of Body Bags by Christopher Golden, narrated by Julie Dretson.
Prologue. Amanda Green died for a cigarette. Wednesday morning at 10:30, she rode the elevator down to the first floor of the courthouse, stepped off, and started toward the row of metal detectors and security guards that blocked her view of the doors. She'd been trying to quit smoking, and had winnowed her habit down to 6 cigarettes a day, each one of them on a rigid schedule. Once upon a time, 10:30 had been her coffee break. Now it was time for a smoke. She paused as she neared the security checkpoint. A cigarette already dangled from her mouth. She had taken it out while still on the elevator. But now she was searching around in her purse for her lighter, growing more and more frustrated because she couldn't find it. Loud voices drew her attention. Amanda glanced up to see a neatly dressed young guy, a very good-looking young guy, snapping at the security guard, who was waving a curling iron-sized metal detector over him. "Do the words 'I'm late' have any meaning to you?" the young guy shouted. Amanda caught a look at his eyes and decided that he wasn't just angry, he was a little off. But that was the security guard's business, not hers. "Mr. Garson," the guard replied, "you'll have to keep your voice down or you'll be denied entrance into the courthouse." The young guy in the nice suit, Mr. Garson, apparently, snorted loudly. As they waved him through, he said something about Congressman Poulos being less than pleased. Amanda smiled at that. Valerie Poulos was about to go on trial upstairs on driving under the influence charges. This must be the lawyer the girl's congressman father hired, she thought. And that was all she thought. More pressing matters concerned her now, for she could not find that lighter, no matter how many times she rifled through her purse. The clock was ticking away her coffee break, and she was without a lighter. There were plenty of people around who she could ask for a book of matches, but so few people actually smoked these days that it wasn't as simple as it had once been. With a sigh of frustration, Amanda moved toward a marble column just inside the row of metal detectors and crouched down. She set her purse down on the floor and began a more methodical search. The cigarette still dangled from her lips. At last, her fingers brushed the cold silver casing of her lighter, and Amanda smiled. "Thank you, God," she whispered, as she pulled the lighter out. She stood, slinging her purse over her shoulder, the lighter clutched in her left hand. The sound of strident footsteps approaching made her turn, and she looked up just in time to see Mr. Garson bearing down on her. His eyes were wide with fury, his lip curled back in disgust, and a bit of drool slid down his chin. Amanda had a moment to be disgusted and a little afraid before Nick Garson whipped his hard brown leather briefcase around and slammed her in the side of the face with it. The cigarette flew from her mouth and skittered across the floor. She let out a shriek and began cursing loudly at the man, even as she turned back to face him again. But Garson was already reaching for her. He grabbed a handful of her hair, hauled her up with one hand, his strength astonishing, and screamed in her face, foamy spittle flying from his lips. "No smoking!" he roared. Garson grabbed the back of her dress, bunching the fabric with his free hand, and using her hair to guide her, he slammed her headfirst into the marble column. Her skull cracked. Then he did it again. When Garson let Amanda's body fall to the floor, there was a wide streak of blood on the column. The nearest security guard was William Campagna. He was only a few feet away when Garson killed Amanda Green, and Campagna was a bit shell-shocked, not to mention enraged by the madman's actions. Shouting furiously, Willie Campagna reached for Garson's right hand, the hand that held the briefcase, and pulled it behind the man's back. The briefcase fell to the floor and Campagna kicked it away. He shoved Garson's arm up nearly hard enough to break it, propelling him toward the wall, getting ready to handcuff the lunatic and put him into custody. Willie Campagna had been taught that hold at the academy. There was no way to get out of it without breaking your arm. With a scream of rage and pain, Nick Garson spun out of Campagna's hold. He didn't even flinch.